within the I suppose it's become quite a contentious word, but I mean it in sort of a mathematical sense. The matrix, the construct of our reality, running through, as you say, this program, as it were, of psychedelic renaissance, is only ever going to taper towards an inevitable point. And I think that's where we're seeing is venture capital and capitalist capitalizing. That's what capitalists do. Motherfuckers see trends, they see the rest of it, and like you say, with AI and all of that, like you got like BlackRock's Aladdin machine that controls like 22 trillion or whatever the fuck it is, and all these other different things that there's becoming a point where I think I get quite worried. So the CIA in the 60s and 70s, while they were cracking down and destroying people, their lives like Timothy Leary and Ram Dass and that, and like fucking chastising all of these former intellectuals, ruining their lives, their reputations, and driving them out. They were doing all these experiments based off the things these fuckers were literally saying. And I just worry about what are they up to now? do you know what I mean? And add that to AI and human predictive behaviors and all of these the augmented reality, and fucking Apple's launched their fucking zombie machine glasses. And I just like, the more I see of the modern world, the more I want to eat a lot of mushrooms and go sit around the fire in the woods. Like I'm driven to escape, but then the fucking drugs, the bastards, make me go, let's go help the world. And you step back into the fucking fire. It's like I'd be better if I was ignorant, because I'd still be doing the same thing, but I wouldn't be aware of it. But then I go, oh, I'm free. I have cognitive liberty. And I'm like, oh, I'm damned to it, because I've got a conscience. I've got a spirit. I've got a drive that goes, oh, but I know some stuff, and I know some people, and I can do this, and I should do that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I was sort of alluding to before, is that I can't understand how these drugs are proliferating more. Yet, as you say, there's not more of the beautiful manifestations of the world. There's not more expressions of it. I can understand, actually, I'm probably answering my own question here, like social media censorship, which is the subject I want to talk to you about. But I saw, like you said, that the controlled narrative, that it's weird that in the UK, we have a thing called skunk psychosis. It's a buzz term that was created by GW Pharmaceuticals and popularized by several right-wing media outlets. I do have some interesting allegations as to whom the pseudonym belongs to. I'm not going to put that gun to my head. And yeah, so they created this whole narrative of skunk, street weed, above 14% THC, under 2% CBD. It is addictive. It'll make you rob your gran and you'll go off and commit mass murder and all this shit. And this narrative now under the prescriptions has vanished. If you've got the piece of paper, skunk psychosis doesn't exist. People are getting 30% THC, 0.2% fucking the CBD. That's like double skunk. That's skunk. That's like, oh, but that's medicine. But how are they not having psychotic reactions? How is none of that psychosis? Anything that goes bad with that, because the paper protects them. And I work again to think of like this coercive mechanism. At what point, if you're then tripping with them in that environment, like I don't trust those fuckers to not just suddenly go, oh, he's having too much of a reaction, we'll inject him with an opioid, fucking strap him in the bed, or like my mates would at least go, no, let him fucking be, let him run off and scream at the trees for 10 minutes. He clearly needs to get it out of him. Do you know what I mean? There's a certain understanding amongst drug taking individuals. This is going to sound insane, and especially my sofa anecdote, to people that have never taken these drugs. But once you've got through the whole whoa of the first few experiences, you get to, like you said, play in these spaces. You get to be a different kind of human within it, beyond the bounds of the pressures, the expectations, the trauma of life. And you get to just be that giddy little child for a while. And if that means, you're stuck screaming at the trees for a bit, fucking get it out of you. Do you know what I mean? You feel hell of a lot better for it. And those different things, and with them trying to then create the trip without the trip, and then them talking about now using augmented reality, like I said, to create psychedelic type environments. You basically put on some goggles and feel like you've taken mushrooms. Like, why can't we just be in the woods?
There's going to be some unbelievable technology rolled out in our lifetime. I've heard Christian Angermeyer, who runs the Thai Life Sciences company, and Aparon Investments, which is like a $2.5 billion fund. I've heard him in person, immediately in front of me, describing to a woman next to me this Neuralink technology they're developing. That might be proprietary, but it's the same idea of like a Neuralink in your brain where you can program entire lifetimes in the same way as in a dream, how like maybe you say, or in the K-hole, like I lived a whole lifetime, all this stuff happened when I was there, but you can program them at will And you could program back-to-back lifetimes where the first lifetime you're a pharaoh and then the next lifetime you're a slave. And when you come out of this entire lifetime, it may have only been a couple of minutes or no time at all in reality. So the fact that people who are connected with the organization like BlackRock and who have billions of dollars are openly pursuing this technology and describing it as if it's not a if, it's a when this stuff debuts, really starts to make me think about my plan B. I drive my wife crazy with all my plan Bs about, where we're gonna, we'll have 36 hours to get to this island and we'll be there. And, the fucked up thing is, having lived personally in Silicon Valley and being connected to some of those entities from the 70s and 80s who helped pave Silicon Valley to what it is today, they're building fucking bunkers, dude. Like, in what world of prosperity and freedom do you have the 0.01% building nuclear-proof bunkers in the mountains of New Zealand and having these escape hatches essentially? Like, I think that for a long time in the 90s, the 2000s, it was looking like we're going to have a great future, and that future is kind of increasingly turning dystopian. Now I don't want to completely resign myself to this, oh, woe is me, the future is so scary. But I think that this is one of the last ditch efforts, is this collective movement towards your cognitive liberty, the freedom of the individual, my freedom to alter my brain chemistry, how I see fit, where I see fit, when I see fit. And the fact that that's illegal, as my good mentor Terence McKenna has said, like, the notion of an illegal plant or an illegal fungus is obnoxious. It's ridiculous. And I firmly believe a lot of the people who are trying to push this more corporate psychedelic renaissance, if you will, they don't have personal experience at a macrodose state. Some would argue that's not important, and some would probably not ever even want to touch it. But from my earliest experiences, and a lot of people would probably agree with me here, there's an intelligence that's embedded within the mushroom. I don't claim to know what it is, but when I first had my experiences and had a couple macrodose experiences early on, I felt that it was a very intelligent life force that I was interacting with. And, some scientists could come on and say, well, it's just your neurocognition doing this and the 5-H2A receptors. Yeah, maybe, but also, like, we should give people the opportunity to decide for themselves. So I think that we are seeing sort of a last ditch effort from these powerful, pretty nefarious interests who profit off of war, who profit off of disease, who profit off of scarcity, trying to get people, with their blinders on, all afraid of each other, all afraid of the world, so that we have to buy into their narrative, because that's the one that's going to keep us safe from climate change, safe from, these different pandemics that are safe from terrorism. Like, if you look at the US Department of State website, which I sometimes do out of sheer triviality when I'm traveling, almost every country is dangerous. Mexico, level 4 danger, do not travel. Thailand, super dangerous, you don't want to go there. Bullshit, dude. Bullshit. The US, Chicago is one of the most dangerous places you could ever set foot. So, parts of Los Angeles, that's my take on it. But again, I don't want to be overly cynical and overly fearful. Like, I want to live my life in humor and joy, friend, connection, and transparency with people.